All right, Denise, so as an experienced life and business coach, what would you say are the biggest wins for you when you're coaching somebody?
The biggest one for me, and always my focus, is to help my clients make a future that's bigger than their past. Always. Coaching is about taking action, it's about moving forward. So you will always want to be in forward motion. And if you're moving forward, your future is going to look different than your past. You can't continue to do the same old things and expect different results. So it's about taking action. In fact, my business is built on Matthew 7:7. Ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open. I mean, faith, focus, and follow through coaching came directly from that verse because it's all about taking action. Having the faith to ask, what's possible? What's God want me to do? What path am I on? What should I be doing next? And that takes courage. And so that's the action piece, and that takes action. And the second piece is the seek. The seeking piece is the focus. That's when you begin to narrow your focus and really hone in and focus on those things that are going to move you to the next step and say no to those things that won't or those things that will hold you back. And then, of course, the follow through, that's the biggest part. That's the real action plan that you put in place. So you've got to have all three pieces in that. And again, when you do that consistently on every day, day in and day out, and you move forward inch by inch, your future is definitely going to look different than your past.
Awesome. So you would say then, to summarize that, the biggest win for you is when you see a client taking action, taking responsibility
Absolutely.
and ownership of what you're trying to lead them.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see that in changed behavior. You'll see that in new disciplines,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
So if you're trying to approach then every time that you meet with a client with leaving them making an action step or taking action in their life, then what would be your goals each time you meet with them? What are you trying to do when you actually meet face to face?
Well, of course, especially in the beginning stages, it's always build that rapport, and you do that through trust, through being authentic, and you build on that each time. And you'll know as a coach, if you're really listening and you're really paying attention, you'll know if you're building on that trust, if they're giving full disclosure or if they're holding back. But really tapping in, building that rapport, building that trust, that's crucial at the very beginning. Actually, it's the relationship will continue to build and deepen throughout the whole coaching experience. And then the second thing that is always important is to dig deeper. Ask those probing questions. You guys are going to be working a lot with teenagers, and you know what that's like. You ask a teenager, "Hey, how was school today?" And what do you get? Fine. Exactly. Like, okay, end of conversation there. What's my next question? Try not to ask those yes, no, fine kind of questions, but dig deeper. How's a different way that you can ask that? You can ask it by saying, "Hey, tell me one thing that happened at school today." "Well, nothing really, it was boring." Oh, you get a little longer. "Really?" Well, then you probe deeper and you say, "So tell me about that. What was so boring?" You mean you did the exact same thing today that you did yesterday? I know there's got to be something different, but probe, go a little deeper. And oftentimes you'll get the "I don't know." That's a lazy answer that, not just kids, but adults fall into that. I do that. I have that with my adult clients all the time. I'll ask them something, "I don't know."
Yeah.
So my next question to them, my next probing question is, if you did know, what would that look like? Or what would that answer be? Just say you did know. It gets them to think a little differently and a little deeper. And another good question to probe and go a little deeper is if you get that one word answer, you can say, "Well, what does that look like?" Or "Why is that important to you?" But always probe and go deeper. Get them to, you're asking the questions and then you're listening. So that would be the second thing. And then the third thing would always be try to move them forward into taking some kind of a commitment, even if it's a very small step. What's the next step? What's the next small step in my journey to move me forward to get where I want to be.
So build trust,
Build trust, build the relationship,
ask the right questions,
ask probing
and
questions.
challenge them to take a next step.
Yes, and hold them nutritionally accountable in that.
Okay. So maybe some kind of measurable, identifiable step that next time you meet with them, you can say, how did you do with this? And it's something that you can reasonably tell this was either done or not done. It happened or it didn't happen.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if there was any just piece of advice or even several pieces of advice that you could give our leaders and just be able to say whatever you wanted to our adult leaders and our coaches, what would that be?
I would say always listen more than you speak. Because really, when somebody says, what's a coach? What's a coach do? One of the first things I always say is, we listen, we hear what's being said, but also what's not being said. So you really, it's a trained listening kind of thing. So listen more than you speak and ask great questions. Don't be a poser. Kids can spot a faker a mile away.
Yeah.
So don't be a poser. Walk the talk. Don't ask kids to do something. If you're asking them to have a nutritious kind of lifestyle and read scripture and different things like that, don't ask them to do something that you're not willing to do. So walk the talk, because truly your testimony, your integrity, and your character is at stake. And it's always on display, and you'd be really surprised of who sees that when you're not
Yeah.
paying attention. So always be on your toes with that. Tell the truth at all times, at all costs, because a coach's job too is to tell the truth and tell it well. And ultimately, what they decide to do with that truth is between them and God, because coaches aren't here to fix anybody.
That's good.
It's really all about helping somebody move forward. And again, that nutritional accountability piece. No judgment. It's not our place to judge. It's our place. The coach is the one who runs alongside of the person.
Awesome. Well, thank you for giving us some practical next steps in our journey as being coaches and trying to figure out what this is all about. Everything you said was very helpful.
You're welcome. I'm real excited for you guys and the program that you're putting together. It's going to make a huge impact on your youth. It's exciting.